Quick question. Have you ever checked your bank account, saw that your paycheck hit, and thought, okay, I should be doing fine right now? But somehow, by the end of the month, there's nothing left? Not because you're reckless, not because you're irresponsible, not because you're buying luxury cars or flying first class, but because of a bunch of small, normal decisions that feel harmless in the moment. Because here's the thing, most middle-class Americans are quietly losing about $12,000 every single year, and they don't even realize it's happening. And if that number sounds exaggerated, stay with me, because the math is simple and a little uncomfortable. My name is Max, and I spend way too much time thinking about why smart, hardworking people still feel broke. If you're someone who earns decent money but still feels like you're falling behind, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Now, most people think the problem is income. I just don't make enough money. But for a lot of middle-class households, that's not actually true. The real problem is something called lifestyle drift, mixed with invisible spending. And this is where it gets really interesting, because this mistake doesn't show up as one big, obvious bad decision. It shows up as normal life. Let's break it down. According to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average middle-class household spends hundreds of dollars every month on things that don't feel like overspending. Eating out a little more than planned, driving a slightly nicer car than necessary, paying for subscriptions, apps, and streaming services that barely get used, choosing convenience instead of time. Individually, none of this sounds crazy. But watch what happens when we do the math. Let's say you spend an extra $250 a month eating out instead of cooking more. You drive a car that costs about $300 more per month than a cheaper, reliable option. You've got around $150 in subscriptions you rarely think about. And you spend another $300 a month on convenience, delivery fees, impulse purchases, quick upgrades. That's about $1,000 a month. Times 12, that's $12,000 a year. Not stolen, not wasted all at once, just slowly leaking out. Now you might be thinking, okay, but I need some of that stuff. Life is expensive. And you're not wrong. But here's what most people don't realize. Your brain is extremely good at justifying small upgrades. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. Basically, when you upgrade your lifestyle, your happiness spikes, and then very quickly resets back to normal. That new car feels amazing for a few weeks. Then it's just your car. That food delivery feels convenient at first. Then it becomes routine. But the payments? Those don't reset. They stay. So what happens is you keep upgrading. Not because you need to, but because your brain is chasing that short-term boost. And before you know it, your entire paycheck is already spoken for before it even hits your account. Let me give you a real-world example. I know someone, let's call him Chris. Chris makes about $72,000 a year, steady job, regular raises, on paper, doing fine. But Chris always felt stressed about money. So we looked at his spending. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't irresponsible. He didn't do anything extreme. He just leased instead of buying, ordered food instead of cooking, upgraded phones early, paid for convenience instead of patience. When we added everything up, just under $11,500 a year that could have been saved or invested. And that's when it finally clicked for him. Because here's the part that really hurts. That $12,000 isn't just $12,000. If you invested $12,000 a year at a modest 7% return, in 10 years that's around $165,000. In 20 years, about $500,000. In 30 years, over $1 million. That's not extra money. That's retirement. That's freedom. That's options. And most people trade it for things that don't even make them happier long-term. Now, at this point, some people hear this and think, so what? I'm supposed to be miserable and never enjoy my money? No, this isn't about cutting everything. It's about cutting thoughtless spending, not intentional spending. People who build wealth don't avoid spending money. They avoid spending without a plan. Huge difference. So here's what actually works. First, pick one money leak. Not 5, just 1. Ask yourself, what's the easiest thing I wouldn't really miss? Cut it. Second, automate the win. The moment your paycheck hits, redirect that money into savings or investments. If you don't see it, you won't spend it. Third, delay upgrades. New phone, new car, new subscription, wait 30 days. If you still want it and it fits your plan, fine. Most of the time, the urge disappears. And finally, redefine what comfort actually means. Comfort isn't upgrading everything. Comfort is not panicking when bills hit. Comfort is not stressing when you check your account. Comfort is not feeling trapped at your job. That's the real upgrade. Here's what most people don't realize. You don't need to make more money to get ahead. You need to stop bleeding money in places that don't actually improve your life. Because once those leaks are sealed, every raise feels bigger, every paycheck goes further, and money stops feeling like this constant source of stress. No one teaches this stuff. You weren't bad with money, you were just never shown how the game actually works. But now you know. So if this made you rethink even one habit, do future you a favor. Subscribe. Because fixing money isn't about guilt, it's about awareness and momentum. And once you build momentum, everything changes.